Yeah, my name is Helen Maroulis. I'm an Olympic wrestler for Team USA, and we are in New York City at Unity Jiu-Jitsu school, and we're just training some Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, so I think a lot of fans of just grappling might be surprised to see you here on FloGrappling instead of Flow Wrestling. But I guess, what's kind of drawn you to Unity? How much cross training have you been doing? What's your current situation with grappling and wrestling?
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey. After the Olympics, I was taking some time off, and then I got a bit of an injury, and they told me I couldn't wrestle, couldn't dance, and I said, well, what can I do? And they said you could try jiu-jitsu. So I tried, and I got obsessed with it, and so I've been going every day since. And then I came out here to New York City for an event, like last week for USA Wrestling, and I came and trained at Unity, and I just really loved it. And so I was thinking about competing in the IBJJF Worlds, and I talked to Professor Murillo, and they just welcomed me out here and have been super amazing to work with.
Is that the plan? Are you going to compete at Nogi Worlds?
Yeah, at first, I think when I met him, I actually did a clinic for Unity in 2017, and I didn't know anything about jiu-jitsu then. But now, all these years later, I showed up last week, and I was like, hey, can I train with you guys? And I've only been training 2 weeks. I think I want to do this tournament. What do you think? And they said, well, we'd have to see you roll. And I was like, okay. And then after, they're like, yeah, if you train every day for the next 5 weeks, you can do it. So I'm in. I'm like, let's do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Overall, what's that transition been like for you? Is there anywhere that's an easy transition from wrestling into kind of sport jiu-jitsu, or anywhere that's kind of been hard, or anything that stands out?
I definitely think that my style of wrestling translates really well because I'm a field wrestler. I'm not like super brute. However, I do feel like an ogre when it comes to jiu-jitsu. I just feel like I'm trying to just force myself and stuff people and stuff like that. So, but what I love about combat sports in general is just the art and the chess game and the mastery of moves. So I love learning moves, and this is really fun. And jiu-jitsu is just such an endless possibility of things to learn and ways to play the game, and I really like that aspect of it. So I'm really excited to learn. I think sometimes they're like, oh, you're a wrestler, let's play to your wrestling strengths. But in my head, I'm like, no, I want to learn everything. This is so fun. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, I always kind of say almost as a joke that, in jiu-jitsu, when you get tired, you can just lay down. You know what I mean? You get to just lay down, to be honest. And wrestling, it's so physically tough, it's so physically hard. That that's why I like jiu-jitsu. I'm a little bit lazy, but I guess just anything else kind of stood out to you about that side of it? Have you had to kind of change the way you approach jiu-jitsu or anything?
Definitely. I love learning new hobbies, and anytime I learn something, I want to understand the culture, the history of it, how the systems work. So it's I'm not just trying to bring whatever I have to wrestling on over. I'm really trying to understand this world, and I really like I call jiu-jitsu combat yoga. It's more of a flow, and so I'm definitely trying to learn to implement that more. I think that'll also be valuable in my wrestling, and yeah, really just not kind of forcing, maybe trying to force position or force myself into a situation, but rather just moving around it and kind of seeing what's there, being more timely with things. So yeah, it's definitely cool to learn.
And then I want to ask you about Unity specifically as well, because Unity is a very unique place. I guess to me, it's one of the most community driven gyms. It feels like everyone here is kind of a family. What have you thought about Unity? Kind of what are the specifics, I guess, that makes it where you wanted to train here?
Yeah, I think Unity is an incredible gym. From the moment I walked in, Professor Murillo and Sebastian, they just made sure to introduce me to everybody and just really, ask questions and, really make it such a collaborative process. And you can tell that it really, community and being around good people is a really high value here, which is really nice because it's if I'm going to be doing something for hours a day, I want to be around good people and I want to be in a good environment. When I was younger, maybe it's oh, I want to be the best in the world and whatever it takes, but I don't really want to be in some crazy gym with crazy people. And yeah, Unity, they just I really like what they stand for. I like the way that they treat each other and the standard that they hold themselves to. You can tell that everyone wants to get better and perform high here and pursue excellence, but they're also just really nice.
Do you think, jiu-jitsu might be something long-term? We see more and more of you down the road?
I'll never say never. So, yeah, I really, really like it. I think, and back to kind of the wrestling thing, it's I love wrestling, but wrestling is so hard on the body. Jiu-jitsu, I can roll every day. Wrestling, I can only go live twice a week. And then it takes the rest of the week to recover for the next live go. So it's really consumes my life. Whereas in jiu-jitsu, I feel like I can do all the training and still have a life outside of it. And yeah, I just really like that aspect. So, and you can see jiu-jitsu something like you can join as an adult where you don't really see that in wrestling. So, and when you see like older adults wrestling, they look kind of like, they start like moving a little like more, you know, not so agile. So, whereas in jiu-jitsu, I feel like you can kind of always keep that flow and it's good on the body. Besides getting like your limbs snapped off and like choked all the time. But that's a learning curve for me too.
Definitely. Well, luckily, people always talk about breaks in jiu-jitsu, but I've never seen a jiu-jitsu guy in a cast, you know? It's like I'm on the lookout, so if you do see that, let me know.
Oh, I'm not trying to see it, honestly. I don't want to see anything.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Even when I watch them do the super match, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, that knee looks so bad. So I think I gotta like build my, my tolerance for that.
For sure. Well, I know we'll definitely be watching at Nogi Worlds. That's exciting to hear you're going to be there, and hopefully, you know, we get to keep seeing more of you in the jiu-jitsu world.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, thanks so much for coming out. It's super fun.
For sure.